I'm going to show you how to do a zoom effect that you can use as a transition between clips and Lightworks. It will work similar to what you see right here. And let's just go back to the edit tab, and I'm just going to get rid of these two clips so that way I can start over and actually show you how to do it. So step number one is I have a section of clip picked for the first clip. I'm just going to drag it onto the timeline, and I have a section for the other clip. We'll drag that onto the timeline as well. Put this down here. So now we have our two clips. And let's just reduce the audio so that way we don't have to listen to it like that, because this is kind of a loud clip. I'm going to bring that way down. The same thing with this. So now the audio is reduced. We have our two clips right here, both of the ocean in two separate shots. So I always laid the clips side by side with each other. I'm going to go to the VFX tab right here. And we're going to go to the first clip and right click and go to effects and add. And then we're going to do 2D DVE. Now anybody who watches my videos, you know that 2D DVE is one of my favorite effects. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this clip and try to find a good spot to start to zoom. So let's let it play, and let's start to zoom right about here. So we're going to go to the DVE effect, which is right here in this window. It's right here, DVE. These little clock buttons, these enable keyframing. So what we want to do is where it says scale, click the keyframer for the master, which is right here. Going to go down to the keyframes and click the little plus button right here, and that's going to add a keyframe where the position of the playhead is, right there. Now what we want to do is we want to zoom into the clip and move the playhead to the end of the clip, to the very last frame, which is right there. And now with the playhead here, we're going to take the master and just bring this all the way up, and that's going to add a keyframe to that position. See, so now if we zoom out and we just play this clip from, say, here, you see it zooms in. So now what we need to do is we now have to go to the other clip. So we're going to go to the second clip right here, right click on it, and do the same thing. Effect, add, 2D DVE. We will start playing this from the first clip. Hit play. Find a good spot on this clip where it should return to normal size. And we're going to go right over to DVE. Click the keyframer for the master right here. We're going to go to the keyframes down here and click the plus button and hit add. But now what we're going to do is we're going to hit rewind. We're going to put this playhead at the beginning of this clip. So at the very first frame of this clip, we want the playhead right there. And we're going to bring the master all the way up. So now a keyframe's been added at the beginning. Well, if I zoom out and just put the playhead at the first clip, hit play, this is going to zoom in and the other clip is going to zoom out. Just like that. Now that's a little bit abrupt. So what we're going to do is we're going to position the cursor in between the two clips and right click. And where it says transition, we're going to go here where it says length of frames. You can add a length. Now I want this to be a very quick transition, so I'm going to do 10 frames. And you can just click centered here and go to add dissolve. Now when you play this, it's going to be a little quick dissolve right in between those two clips, which is going to help to smoothen it up, which it just did. Let's play that again. Now let's zoom in a bit and let's undo that dissolve that we just put in. I want to see if I can actually change the, I guess 10 frames is the shortest we can do. So let's put the dissolve back. And now this seems to be a bit quick to me. It's a little bit abrupt. Well, look, it looks okay, but I would kind of rather it be quicker, rather shorter if I could help it. So what I'm going to do is I just went to the Graphs tab. See, this is the Settings tab where we just were. Now I'm at Graphs. And I'm going to play this clip again. I'll stop it right here. And I'm going to take this keyframe and move it over to here. That's going to slow down the zoom on that clip. Let's do the same thing for this one over here. So it starts right there. Let's rewind to right before it starts. We're in the Graphs tab. Grab this keyframe, move it over there. This is going to slow the zoom down. Now let's play it like this. See, now the zoom is a lot slower and it looks a lot better that way. So this right here is the zoom effect in Lightworks. And in fact, you can actually keyframe this all over the place, even if you don't want to keyframe it just from there. See, this is actually slowly zooming in right now, because if you look at this keyframe, this is at 1.1 height where it should be at 1.0. Let's drag this down. Now it's actually going to zoom out because we dragged it down too much. See if we can get it right at 1.1. It's going to be hard. Let's see. Come on, can we do it? 1.0. Now this shouldn't zoom at all now. Now it's perfectly still. But you see, if I go right here to the Graphs tab and drag it up a little bit, it's going to slowly zoom in the whole time. See that? It's kind of neat. But you know, you can really mess with this, because I can go down to the keyframer and click a plus right here, and I can rewind this, for example, right here. Click another plus. Maybe put this playhead in between those two and click a plus right there. Then I can just grab this and kind of, you know, randomly zoom it up if I wanted to. There it goes, back down, and now it's going to zoom in and transition. The keyframer is such a cool tool that you really need to learn. I could bring this down, in fact, and now it's going to zoom out before it zooms in. And now, like, that's something right there. See the little Graphs tab right here. It's very cool to mess with this. You just add keyframes, you know, randomly all over the place in this Graphs tab. And this clip right now is just going to be zooming all over the place because of those keyframes. See that? So much for a nice looking clip. And again, this is your basic settings tab. To keyframe, you click the little clock button to enable keyframing. You can then add keyframes by hitting the plus button with the playhead in the position where you want to add the keyframe. You can then change the parameters on the clip which will automatically add a keyframe if keyframe is enabled. And you can have good control over the keyframe by going to the Graphs tab, and you can just, you know, really mess around with those keyframes in the Graphs tab like what I just did. So I know I got a little bit more carried away than just creating the transition, but this is the basics of doing a zoom with Lightworks to zoom into a clip. Thanks for watching.